Thing. It's a word we hear a lot in English, a popular word and very commonly used. But have you ever wondered what it really means? Thing is a word that we often hear in different songs in English. Outside of songs, we can see Thing in movies like The Addams Family. This hand is called Thing. Stranger Things, a new TV series on Netflix. Thing 1 and Thing 2, which are famous characters from a Dr. Seuss book. Or even The Thing from Marvel Universe. But we also see Thing in our writing. Sometimes there are 3 important things to be a successful online student. My grandfather taught me many things during my life. Or another thing about the death penalty is the cost. Maybe you've written a sentence like this, or maybe you've read it. Are these things the same as the Things 1 and Thing 2 or the Marvel Thing? To understand more about what thing really means, let's look in the Oxford English Dictionary. As you can see, this dictionary isn't just one book, but a whole set of books, one for each letter of the alphabet. It's a special dictionary that contains 600,000 words and the history of those words in over 1,000 years of English. Let's take a look at the definition of thing in the Oxford English Dictionary. This is the dictionary entry for the Oxford English Dictionary of the word thing as a noun. You can see that it has some parts that are very similar or typical in an online dictionary, like the pronunciation in British English,
thing,
or US English,
thing,
as well as many definitions and example sentences. In fact, there are 17 different definitions for the word thing, and many, probably hundreds of example sentences. And then there are 17 examples of the word thing used in a phrase, like one thing or another. There's a lot of detailed information here about the words, and especially historical information. Some of this doesn't even look like English. I don't know that much about Old English, which is the type of language represented here. It's a historical form. So I asked someone I know who's an expert, and it is my dad, Dr. Bill Reynolds, who retired as an English professor from Hope College in Holland, Michigan. So let's see what he has to say about these definitions and about why there's so much historical information in this dictionary.
Does the Oxford English Dictionary contain all this information just about one word? What do you think?
But do you know what the full title of the Oxford English Dictionary is? They're somewhere in the title.
Okay.
On historical principles. So that's what it's calling is to investigate the history of these words. And what it's interested in doing is to figure out all the shades of meaning that there might be. It does a number of other things too. It shows you when a given word might first appear in print, or in a manuscript, when the last time that they're able to find a particular word used in a particular way. And so what they're doing here is taking this word that can have so many different meanings, and they're trying to trace the history of that word and the history of the various meanings it has, and how they shifted, and how maybe one meaning has led to the next, and how some meanings have just fallen by the wayside. So
That's what obsolete means, right? Obsolete means this, it's not used like that anymore. Can you read some of these sentences in Old English so that we can hear how they would sound?
Sure. Any particular ones you'd like
Just
to
start
hear?
at, you can just start at the beginning where it
With the
says,
maxims?
yeah.
Okay. Thing shall je hagan, fraud with fraudme, bith hyrde verth je lichtje. The one from Beowulf. Und nu ich with grando shall, Anna je hagan thing with thirst.
Oh, I heard thing. I heard thing. Okay.
So the Oxford English Dictionary provides a lot of information, including important historical information, but it doesn't help us that much when we want to find out what a word means. Another dictionary we can use is the Merriam-Webster Learner's Dictionary, which you can find online for free at learnersdictionary.com. This dictionary is especially for people who are learning English because it aims to show very clear definitions of the most common uses of the words, as well as very clear examples that illustrate the meanings of the word. Still, when we look up the word thing, we can see that the first definition is an object whose name is not known or stated. But we can also see that there turns out to be 13 different definitions for this word, as well as many phrases. So thing has so many possible meanings. A thing could be an action or activity, an event, an idea or a reason, an object, an opinion. Of course, it can also be our monsters. You might not be surprised then that thing is number 6 on the most commonly used nouns. All the nouns in the English language, thing is the number 6 most frequently used. Another tool that we can use to think about how a word like thing is used is the corpus of contemporary American English. A corpus is a database that has lots of examples of words, and we can search it to find how frequently a word is used. For example, if we search for important thing, we could see that it appears more than 10,000 times in the corpus. Here are some of the examples of the word important thing used in the corpus. Maybe you can notice that most of these are very informal or conversational examples. Don't worry if it gets dirty or sweat a lot. The important thing is to wash carefully all the used clothing. You do. It's like the most important thing in the world. How stupid when you stop to think about it. Glad you found a gym that works for you. That's really the most important thing. Let's compare this to a search for another word, important aspect. This is much less frequently used, about 1,300 times. But you notice that this phrase is used in more formal or maybe more academic concepts. For example, the most important aspect of any community is its quality of life. An important aspect of the Constitution is that it provides its citizens with certain civil rights. Because thing has so many different meanings and is used so frequently, sometimes it loses its meaning because it can be used to describe, well, almost anything.
Okay. Can you repeat the part of the stuff where you said all about things?
If you don't want to use the word thing, you can use another tool to try to find a different word to use. This tool is called the thesaurus, and it shows words that are synonyms for another word. So let's try looking up the word thing. Some different choices, but let's just take a caution. If you're not exactly sure what one of these words means, like commodity, don't just change it in your writing for thing. Check the meaning of the word. before you use it. You can check it in the Learner's Dictionary. So for example, when we look up the word commodity, it means something that is bought and sold, or something or someone that is useful or valued. Obviously, you can't use this word to substitute for thing in every sentence. So let's look at some other examples of words that could be used in place of thing. If your sentence is describing an event, you could use that word event or circumstance, incident, or experience. So instead of many things have occurred since the last election, or one thing that changed in my life was moving to the US, you could say many incidents have occurred since the last election, or one experience that changed my life was moving to. If your meaning of thing is like activities, tasks, jobs, or actions, you could use those words. So instead of saying a mother always has many things to do, you could say a mother always has many tasks to do. If you're talking about an object, item, or product, instead of saying a smartphone is a thing that everyone needs nowadays, you could say a smartphone is an item that everyone needs nowadays. Opinion, reaction, view, and belief are another set of words that you could substitute. So one thing about cheating is that it is so easy to do online becomes one view about cheating is that it is so easy to do online. In fact, there are many different, more specific words that you could use to describe a thing. You could use a topic, subject. You could use these words to describe a part or piece of something. You could use advantage or benefit to talk about good things, or disadvantage to talk about bad things. If you're talking about a specific type of thing, use a more specific word to describe a goal, a problem, or even a cause and effect. Remember, result is an effect and reason is a cause. You can always use the dictionary to help you with some of these aspects. So, for example, there are 3 things that make a successful student. Instead of saying there are 3 things that make a successful student, I want to use this word aspect because I know it means parts. I can go to the Learner's Dictionary and look up the word aspect. And when I look up the word aspect, it tells me which preposition to use with it. So usually plus of. How does that help me in my writing? I can change there are 3 things about a successful student to there are 3 aspects of a successful student because I use the dictionary. Thing can definitely be a useful word, and it has a lot of practical, useful, as well as fun applications. But when you're using it in academic writing, take a minute to pause and think about whether that's what you really mean, or whether a more specific word would be a better fit.